Welcome, Marie here in Zone 6, and the limelights are looking awesome. There's Night, my little stray cat cutie who lives in my garage. Bye-bye. Look at my neighbor's lawn. He sure can edge. Mine is greener. We have a little friendly competition going on. Back to the flowers at hand. The limelights are looking just beautiful, as well as the Millennium Allium, which is a pollinator magnet. Hopefully you'll be able to see all the cute little bees, little bumbles on it. They just love it. Hey cuties. I'm really loving the way the jazzberry supertunias have cascaded over the steps. I pruned back my juniper. It had gotten kind of far onto the front porch, and it was poking me at times, and I can have an allergic reaction to juniper, so I trimmed that back. The Sally Holmes rose. It's really doing well. That neem oil really helped cut down on those Japanese beetles. I have to remember to do that next year. When I see the Japanese beetles, get out the neem oil. As long as it's not a really hot day. These pink cashmere verbena are looking beautiful. Here it is mirrored on the other side. Well, as much as you can mirror. Beautiful. And I like the way that this is my first year with the jazzberry supertunias, in ground and in containers. And I like the way it's had a lot of heat, a lot of stressful weather as far as plants are concerned. Well, some actually like a lot of heat, like caladium. But petunias can get stressed. And so I like this particular petunia because it stayed dense. This is the east side of the house. The sun comes up and hits over here. And they stay so dense. They're not stringy. I just love them. I think next year I may try the new one, which is Cool Jazz. I'll see. These arborvitae over here, I did a little trimming on them and it was too hot. So they have a little bit of browning. This arborvitae over here and this arborvitae over there. And it's not that, it's bad to trim arborvitae, because when I bought these arborvitae about 8-9 years ago, maybe more, they were in a cone shape, the traditional conical shape. And I cut the top part off to round them off. And they filled in nicely and they've done well. But it was just too hot. Naughty, naughty. I am absolutely impressed, blown away, and loving these hippie chick petunias. I mean, I did not plant them that long ago. They're dense, they're healthy, they're strong, and they're even able to, let me give kind of a long view. There's kind of a long view. There's more Millennium Allium for repetition. And even with this snowdrift here next to this one, which snowdrift can be extremely vigorous. And yes, the snowdrift is kind of intermingling with the hippie chick, but the hippie chick is holding its own. There's that May night salvia I cut back and it bloomed again. It is so beautiful. And those arborvitae you see back yonder around the limelight, they were actually cone shaped, conical when I bought them, and I chopped the top off, and they filled in nicely. So with some plants, even though they come in a traditional size, they can be tailored to fit. Not all plants, but some. Pink chiffon rose of Sharon, still blooming. I looked at I think a video from September last year, and it was still in bloom. This is a beautiful plant. The blooms aren't as dense as when it initially bloomed, but they're beautiful, and I appreciate them. Here's a view from this angle. I'm standing on the grass to get this view. I won't show too much of the grass because it could use a cutting. Doesn't look bad, but it could look better. We've had a cool night or a few, and so this limelight is getting a little pink hue on some of its blooms. Those cool nights give it the pink hue, pinkish color. Here's another view from a bit of a distance. This is the view to the back garden, which is the west garden. And I think this is a really good example of tailoring a plant. This arborvitae is more of a round arborvitae, and so it would have really obstructed a lot of the space down below. So I pruned out lower branches, which made it more of a tree form. And it doesn't look as heavy. I hope I'm getting across what I'm trying to say. It doesn't look as heavy as it would have if it was a fully roundish bush or shrub. The diamond frost euphorbia has made its way through the tiara blue supertunia. It took until August, but it made its way through. This is my first year with the Tiara Blue Supertunia as well as the Blue Moon Punch Super Bells Calibracoa, which is that lighter purple. And I'm happy. I don't know. I know I really like a plant when I can't see myself in the future without it. So I like that Tiara Blue. And I'd be remiss to leave out my botanical interests. Ageratum I grew from seed. Love that as well. Here is a mixture of Bordeaux, Tiara Blue Supertunia, and Snowdrift Supertunia. And I just love the way that feels in that space there. I put that there because those three plants were being eaten by the bloom bandit, which I think is a groundhog. And so I wanted to elevate them. So I said, well, I have this container and this frame. So I put it up there. And I'm so glad it worked out. Sometimes negative things in the garden can lead to something wonderful. And so those blooms being eaten led to some creativity and elevating these plants on this fence, which I've never done that before. And it fills that space well because it was kind of blank anyway. That space looked kind of flat. And so it brings it out. Give you a scan. There are my two endless summers, which should be getting some new blooms. It has a few buds soon. And there is the quickfire behind, the oldest quickfire in my garden. Also new for me is the Sublime Smooth hydrangea. And I really like this hydrangea. Behind it is the Limelight Prime. I really like this hydrangea. The leaf color, the foliage officially colored, it's unique, kind of like a dark green, blackish, or has kind of like a backdrop of green, black in the leaf, or I guess an undertone, I guess, kind of is what it could be called. But I really love these sublimes I put in. Speaking of diamond frost euphorbia, this one has really started to come through in the container with the Bordeaux and the lamium. And this was my first year putting lamium, which is, I think it's usually used as a ground cover, in the container, some of my containers, and I love it. It even spills down. So beautiful. There are a few hibiscus blooms left on the summerific evening rose. But I like these little, I don't know if you call them pods, or I don't think they're calyx, but I like those little green parts left. That chartreuse, I think that is so cute. On the back deck, the wave petunia I had right here, it just looked tired and miserable. I tried putting more food on it, pruning it back a bit, and it just looked sad to me. And so when I would look at it, I felt not happy. So I said, you've got to go, G.O. So I got these two little mums and put them over here, and immediate joy. So if something really bothers you in your garden, makes you sad to look at it, and it's not just over the top to change it, where it won't be more trouble than it's worth, then go ahead and do something about it. It can make a world of difference. As long as it's within reason to change it. But that would depend on your circumstances. I really like these Beacon and Patience that I put in this year. And when it's getting dark out and I look out here, I can see them. And I just think they are so beautiful. There's the little quick fire, the little lime punch, my iceberg rose, and I have another, I believe it's cane. I tamed this long cane, well, semi-tamed this long cane from the New Dawn, but there's another one that's out of order. Well, I won't say out of order. That's extremely healthy and growing. So I'll have to decide what I want to do with that one. I might just trim it off, or I might pull it back. I don't know. I'll see. There's that sublime I moved over here to add some early hydrangea blooms in this area. Panicles tend to bloom a little later, except for in my garden, the ones I have, the quickfire and the little quickfire, they bloom early. They start to bloom around the same time as the smooth hydrangeas, but my other ones, like the, what is that? Little lime punch and the firelight and the firelight tidbit down there, they bloom later. So I also put in this Gatsby Star Oak Leaf my mom gave me, and it's really starting to grow, so I was very happy. And so that will also add an early bloom, because for me in my yard, the oak leaves, here's an oak leaf. This one's seen better days, my Gatsby pink oak leaf. But the oak leaves are the first to really start to bloom. Then after that, kind of like, I mean, not way after, but the smooth hydrangeas come in, the little the quick fire, and then the other kind of denser panicles come after that. So by adding those two in, the sublime and the other oak leaf, that'll add some earlier blooms over there as far as hydrangeas. Here are two more quick fires, one to the right, one to the left, and the firelight in the middle, which I was trying to echo with that firelight. the firelight that is over here to the right. So there'll be a sense of repetition. Here is a Gatsby Star oak leaf that's been in my yard for years. You can see how large it is. 2 more sublimes I put in. And those lime lights over on that table I built years ago, by that faux shed I built years ago. I pruned back this potato vine, gotten out of order. So I pruned it back. And the canna I moved over here to try to get it more sun so we'll get more blooms. Mission accomplished. There's one. Where's the other? There it is. I see you. I had actually given my mother some canna. And so when I was over there, she says, look and see if you see any seeds. So, obedient to my mother, I went over to the canna I planted over there. And lo and behold, there was a seed pod. Thanks, Mom. More ageratum I planted from seed. And I got a few more blooms on my crocus rose, David Austin. It really is, actually there are 2 here, but they're full of blooms, usually in June. Last year, I didn't get that many blooms because the light was obstructed. The crocus roses are to the left, and over by this table, there was a weed bush tree. I'm not sure what it was. It had gotten so tall that it made basically a wall that went across. Where you see this extension I built last year, it wasn't there, and it just went across and up and over, and it hung over the faux shed I built years ago, and so it created like kind of like a wall where the crocus rose, where these crocus roses weren't getting the sun they needed, so last year didn't bloom so well. But I chopped that down smaller, that weed bush tree, whatever it was, and so now they've gotten more sun, and they did really well this year. Yippee! Please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.